I want to welcome you all on this Monday, November. And as you can see, Katie's not with us today. She's actually traveling and decided that it would be a little bit better today if she skipped being here. And so I was happy for her that she could make a choice that works really well for her while she's in her travels. And she'll be back next week. So I'm going to be sharing the practice today, and I'm so happy to be with all of you. And as I was thinking about this Monday morning practice that we do here, Love in Action, I was thinking that for me, lately, especially, what has been a really supportive looping practice is to take a moment and so I'll describe it and then I'll invite you to join me in it. But I'll take a moment and I'll think about a piece of sage, a leaf of sage from a sage, California sage. I live in California, and that scent to me, if I rub my fingers on it and I smell that, it connects me immediately with a feeling of openness, connectedness. I feel like that sense of my belonging in nature. When I smell that, something about it is like, oh, I recognize myself in that scent. And so and what happens for me is whatever it was that was happening before that, I'm now in a space of connectedness, openness, what I would call essence, what Katie calls essence. I'm remembering who I truly am. And so, what I want to invite all of you to do is to think of something in nature. So, something, it could be a place that you go to, it could be like I described, a particular plant that has a particular scent or texture or color. And so just bring it to mind. You might close your eyes if that helps you, or lower your gaze, but bring to mind some item of nature from nature. And if it has a scent, let yourself imagine that you're smelling that scent right here. If it's something that's filling your senses with more of a sight, like looking out at something really beautiful, let yourself feel that connection inside of you and notice what happens in your body as you're bringing to mind this beautiful something, some place in nature, some item in nature. And then let yourself take that space, whatever that is that you created inside of yourself. It might feel like love. It feels like love to me. It feels like openness. It feels like beauty, a vibration of beauty inside of me. And then let yourself, let your eyes open if they're not open, and look around the space, and either in your own space or look around this Zoom space where we are gathering together today, and let yourself share that feeling, that vibration in you. Loop that out to something in your environment, whether it's a person or an animal or an item in your room. And just imagine that you're sharing that vibration of love, that vibration of whatever it felt like for you. And then notice what happens in your body as you're sharing that. And then come back into that space inside and notice your breath. And notice if you have an open feeling in your breath. Is your breath restricted in any way? And take a nice deep breath way down in your belly, like you're breathing all the way into your pelvic area, letting the belly naturally expand. And then let that breath out. And take a few more really slow, deep belly breaths. And then notice what the sensations in your body are. Notice what that feels like to have that deeper breath. If you notice a feeling of spaciousness or openness inside of you, allow yourself once again to loop that energy out to something or someone around you right now. And if you didn't notice spaciousness, let yourself loop your energy anyway out. So, whatever your natural state in this moment is, let your attention go out to someone or something around you. And then come back to your breath and take a few more deep belly breaths, breathing way deep down into your pelvic area, letting the belly naturally expand. If you can get that to a count of anywhere between 4 and 6 seconds, go ahead and do that. Don't want to stretch it too far, but a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger than you usually breathe, a little bit slower. And then bring to mind again that item in nature. If you just popped on the call, you're bringing to mind some item of nature. For me, it was a leaf of sagebrush, California, not sagebrush, but California sage. And so, whatever that is for you, bringing that to mind again and notice the feeling inside of you when you're being with this item of nature or this space in nature that you love. And then one more time, let your energy now, your attention now go to something or someone around you. Could be someone in this space together. It might be somewhere in your room where you are. And then notice if there's any shift in your experience of this person around you or this place around you, this something around you. Notice if there's any shift when you're bringing that loving, open awareness and attention. I notice for me that my when I feel brighter and more open, that's what I'm noticing around me. And if I notice something that doesn't look like that, it's like I bring that curiosity and openness to that space, not needing to change it, but just really bringing my awareness and my spaciousness to it. And somehow that fills me with a, a, a more centered, grounded space. And so, what I want to do now is turn our attention. Thank you for doing that practice with me. And for anyone who logged on late, Katie will be back with us next week. She's doing great. She's just on a trip right now. And I'm going to bring up an integrity card that I randomly picked. And as always, these random choices wind up being what they don't feel random. So take a look at this. And of course, it's something in nature, which is very funny. And I hadn't even noticed that when I chose the card. So notice when you're giving attention to this card, this image, what happens inside of you. Are there thoughts that arise? Are there feelings or sensations? Just giving your sensitive awareness to your experience of this card right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull up the words that go with this card. So, what it says here, and it feels very timely for those of us in the United States, I speak in a way that generates connection rather than argument. I speak in a way that generates connection rather than argument. In what ways can I speak that are real and descriptive? In what ways can I speak that are real and descriptive? And as you can see, this comes from our conscious communication cards. So you might for a moment ponder how you are with this integrity skill. How does it feel inside of you when you hear those words, read those words? I notice for myself that I right away have a yes, I want to do this. Like I feel very in congruence with it. Like, yes, I want to speak in a way that generates connection rather than argument. And I'll go ahead and come on back to the group now. And I noticed that by focusing on my experience, how I am experienced, whatever it might be, that's up for me. If I stick with my experience of it, I'm in the realm of the unarguable. This is my experience. I've heard Katie say that and she describes conversations from the way past with Gay, and he would say to her, "This is my experience. That's your experience." And so recognizing that, yes, we can be experiencing the same exact thing and have completely different experiences and interpretations and all of those things. So just checking in with I what I would like to invite everyone to do is just check in with your willingness to commit to that level of integrity in the world, where your intention is to create connections rather than argument. I think we'd be living in a lot different world right now if that was our focus. So, all right, well, now I'm going to move into our Presence Connect play, and I opened the app and randomly chose 3 for today. And the first one is give yourself a drop of love. And I loved that I picked that today. It feels really nourishing. So, yeah, so I invite you to imagine you have a dropper full of love, and you can just take a few drops of that and put it anywhere that feels good. I noticed for some reason I want to put it around my throat, my shoulders. And I like thinking of that dropper full of love as an infinite dropper full. It refills itself from essence, from life itself. Yeah. So presencing through giving love to ourselves is such a powerful tool. I notice that when I start with me, then I notice that I'm available for others. And drops of love is a really nice way to practice that. So for connect today is loop and shift attention. So of course, this is what we were just practicing. So let's do that for a moment here. Notice something inside of you, anything at all. And then bring your awareness out to someone around you or something around you. And notice something, anything at all about that item, that person. And then you might notice any change inside of yourself in that noticing. And once again, you've already moved your attention to yourself by noticing that. So if you haven't done that yet, just notice inside yourself and how you're experiencing your inner world right now. And then once again, bringing your attention out around you to something, some item in the room, to a person. And I notice with that practice of coming back to me, back to whatever it is I want to presence, back to me, that circulation is such an enlivening experience, such a presencing experience. Ah, I'm so appreciative of Katie Hendricks and Gay and these tools that, like one of our participants today was saying, that actually work when we use them. They work when we use them. It's so wonderful, so reliable. So the last one is play, and it's toss, tell me more. And this one is such a favorite of mine. And whether we're going full out into the art of the toss, which is a practice that you can learn about on the Foundation for Conscious Living. So if you just go on there and search art of the toss or the basic toss, you'll see some a wonderful practice and a video with Katie on that. Um, but in its simplest form, it's really a way of bringing your own curious attention to someone else. So, and I think it goes so well with the card today of having an openness to creating connection through conversation rather than argument. So, what a powerful way to do that, to say to someone who you're listening to, tell me more about that. And it might be something I really am feeling hesitant about learning more about. Maybe it's something, maybe my partner's telling me something that's upsetting him, or maybe someone is telling me something they don't like about something I've done. It could be feedback that doesn't actually feel that good in the moment. But if I can get curious about it and ask, tell me more, invite, tell me more. What an opportunity for me to challenge myself to being open, to learning, to growing, to being with, rather than being stuck in my position of what I think should or shouldn't be happening, which is also something that I'm finding very important right now as living in the United States. So, yeah, so I'm really enjoying how the practice today all goes together. And I noticed that about the work. The work is so intuitive, and it's so holistic that no matter how I approach it, it all comes together. So, thank you so much for being willing to be here in the practice with me today. And Katie will be back with us, or is planning to be back with us next Monday. And if you'd like to stay on the call for our big talk, beautiful conversations that we have, please feel free to stay on. We always have a lovely time connecting with each other. And otherwise, we'll see you next week. So thank you so much.